Have you ever felt a profound sense of disconnection? It's a feeling that can creep up on you unexpectedly, in the quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts. You might be surrounded by people, yet feel completely isolated, as if you're on a different wavelength from everyone else, like the world is a stage, and you're merely an actor reciting lines you didn't write. This metaphor, famously articulated by Shakespeare, resonates deeply with many of us. We go through the motions, playing our parts, but sometimes it feels like we're just going through the motions, without any real sense of purpose or direction. This unsettling feeling, this existential questioning, lies at the heart of Jean-Paul Sartre's La Nausée, nausea. Sartre, a leading figure in existentialist philosophy, explores the idea that life can often feel arbitrary and devoid of meaning. His protagonist, Roquentin, experiences a profound sense of nausea as he confronts the absurdity of existence. Life can feel arbitrary, meaningless. This realization can be both terrifying and liberating. On one hand, it can lead to a sense of despair, as we grapple with the notion that our lives may not have any inherent purpose. On the other hand, it can also be a call to action, a reminder that we have the power to create our own meaning and shape our own destinies. We search for purpose, for inherent value in our actions. This quest for meaning is a fundamental aspect of the human experience. We look to our relationships, our work, our passions, and our beliefs to find a sense of fulfillment and direction. Yet, the answers we seek are often elusive, and the journey can be fraught with uncertainty and doubt. But what if there is none? What if the meaning we seek is not something that can be found, but something that must be created? This is the central tenet of existentialist thought, that we are not born with a predetermined purpose, but rather, we must forge our own paths and define our own values. What if, as Sartre suggests, we are born into a world devoid of inherent meaning? This idea can be daunting, but it also offers a profound sense of freedom. If there is no preordained purpose, then we have the opportunity to create our own meaning, to live authentically and true to ourselves. In this way, the search for meaning becomes not a quest for answers, but a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. La Nausée follows Antoine Roquentin, a historian living in the fictional French town of Bouville. Roquentin experiences a growing sense of nausea, a visceral feeling of disgust and alienation from the world around him. This nausea is not a physical ailment, but an existential one. It's triggered by the realization that objects and even his own existence have no inherent meaning or purpose. Imagine picking up a pebble. It's just a rock, right? But to Roquentin, its existence is overwhelming. It simply is, without reason or explanation. This is the absurdity Sartre wants us to confront. We encounter this absurdity in everyday life. The meaningless chatter on the train, the arbitrary rules we follow, the routines we cling to, all point to the lack of inherent meaning in our existence. Sartre argues that existence precedes essence. We are born into this world not as predefined beings with inherent purpose, but as blank slates. We exist first, and then we create our essence through our choices and actions. This realization can be liberating and terrifying. We are free to define ourselves, to create our own values and meaning, but this freedom also comes with the heavy burden of responsibility. Section 5. The Weight of Freedom, Embracing Responsibility. If we are indeed responsible for our own meaning, then we are also responsible for the consequences of our choices. This notion is deeply rooted in existential philosophy, particularly in the works of Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre posited that existence precedes essence, meaning that we are not born with a predetermined purpose. Instead, we must create our own meaning through our actions and decisions. This freedom to choose is both liberating and daunting. It places the onus on us to navigate the complexities of life, to make choices that align with our values, and to accept the outcomes of those choices, whether they lead to success or failure. This is the weight of freedom that Sartre wants us to acknowledge. The burden of responsibility can feel like a heavy load, much like carrying a backpack filled with the sum of our choices. Each decision adds to the weight, and the path we walk can often be steep and challenging. Yet it is through this journey that we find our true selves. The weight of our choices shapes our character, molds our identity, and ultimately defines who we are. It is a testament to our resilience and our capacity to endure. It's easy to be paralyzed by this responsibility. The sheer magnitude of our freedom can lead to feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. We may find ourselves sitting alone contemplating the vast array of possibilities and the potential for making the wrong choice. This existential angst is a natural response to the realization that we are the architects of our own destiny. However, it is important to remember that this paralysis is not a permanent state. It is a moment of reflection, a pause that allows us to gather our thoughts and muster the courage to move forward. But instead of succumbing to anguish, we should embrace the freedom to choose and act authentically, even in the face of absurdity. Embracing responsibility means recognizing that our choices, no matter how small, have the power to shape our lives and the world around us. It means taking ownership of our actions and striving to live in accordance with our true selves. By doing so, we can find a sense of purpose and fulfillment, even amidst the chaos and uncertainty of life. So, let us stand tall on the peaks of our achievements, run freely through the fields of possibility, and walk confidently down the trails of our chosen paths. Embrace the weight of freedom, for it is through this weight that we find our strength and our true essence. Section 6. Authenticity, living on your own terms. Authenticity, for Sartre, means living in accordance with our own freely chosen values and beliefs. It's about rejecting societal pressures and expectations and defining our own meaning. This doesn't mean living a life devoid of rules or social responsibility. It's about understanding that we have the power to choose our own path, to create our own meaning in an otherwise meaningless world. Section 7. The discomfort of being. Confronting the absurdity of existence can be unsettling. It can evoke feelings of nausea, anxiety, and even despair. But this discomfort, Sartre argues, is a necessary step towards authentic existence. It's in these moments of existential discomfort that we are forced to question our assumptions, to confront the limitations of our existence, and ultimately, to embrace our freedom to create meaning. Section 8. Finding meaning in the absurd. So how do we find meaning in a meaningless world? By embracing our freedom, by acting authentically, and by creating our own values. This meaning might be found in our relationships, our passions, our contributions to society, or simply in the act of living a life true to ourselves. Section 9. A call to authentic existence. Nausea is not a prescription for despair, but a call to action. Sartre's existential masterpiece challenges us to look beyond the superficial layers of our daily lives and to delve deeper into the essence of our being. It urges us to confront the unsettling reality that life, in its raw form, lacks inherent meaning. But rather than succumbing to nihilism, Sartre invites us to see this as an opportunity. It's an invitation to confront the absurdity of existence and to embrace the freedom and responsibility that come with it. This freedom is not a burden, but a gift, a chance to shape our own destinies. By recognizing the absurdity, we are not paralyzed by it. Instead, we are liberated. We are free to define our own values, to set our own goals, and to pursue our own passions. By acknowledging the lack of inherent meaning, we are empowered to create our own. This act of creation is not limited to grand gestures or monumental achievements. It can be found in the simple, everyday moments of our lives. Whether it's through art, relationships, or personal growth, we have the power to infuse our existence with meaning. Each choice we make, each action we take is a step towards crafting a life that is uniquely our own. We are free to live authentically, to find our own purpose, and to make our own mark on the world. Authentic existence is about being true to ourselves, about living in accordance with our own values and beliefs. It's about rejecting societal expectations and norms that do not resonate with our true selves. It's about taking risks, embracing uncertainty, and being willing to fail. In doing so, we discover a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy. We realize that the journey itself, with all its ups and downs, is what gives life its richness and depth. So let us embrace the call to authentic existence, and in doing so, create a life that is truly our own.